So I uploaded a video about, I think 9 months ago or something like that, and doing sort of a tabletop / shooting review of this chassis system. The receiver portion and the barrel, bolt, and all that kind of stuff is from a Mossberg MVP Patrol in 308 or 7.62x51. Same difference to the gun. It eats both. But I had a lot of complaints because I wasn't using a rest. I wasn't using like sandbags and stuff to test the accuracy of the rifle. And honestly, I'm not really concerned so much about like insane accuracy. And I know that sounds kind of weird because this whole chassis system is for people that are typically looking for more accuracy than what you'd find on a standard sort of stock setup. This is the original stock. The magazine release is recessed and it was hard to reach if you had gloves on. And I mean, if you're looking at this rifle as a hunting rifle or something, it's not that probably important, as you probably can only take a couple to a few shots. You know, that's probably a lot for most hunters each outing. So you probably won't need to change the magazine, which it comes with a 10-round magazine. So that's kind of excessive for some hunters. But it just wasn't up to my standards. It's hard to get in there. So, that's one of the downsides of the original stock, leaning me more towards this system. This has a magazine release on the side, which doesn't matter how big of gloves you have, as long as you can find that button, you can release the magazine. It does take away the feature of, this stock accepts both, I think, M14 and AR-10 SR-25 magazines. So that's kind of cool, but this one only takes SR-25 and you know, AR-10 magazines and whatnot. So that was one of the main reasons I wanted this. Another reason was I wanted to be able to have better ergonomics. I'm able to choose whatever pistol grip I want, whatever angle I want. This feature allows it to where, like, if I'm laying down, I can extend the stock so I can get good eye relief still, or I can collapse it if I'm standing up. Just how it looks overall is why I like it, you know. So the people that are, you know, maybe criticizing my last video for not being the best shot, basically, and choosing the best shooting positions, for me, it wasn't about that. It was about, you know, I'm shooting steel mostly. I hit the steel when I'm shooting at steel. Like, I'm not getting, like, you know, half-inch groups at like 800 yards, but I'm hitting the steel, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to get hits on target, and I felt like I did a good job explaining that last time, but I'm having to remake this video because I had a lot of negative responses to that video. So I'm going to be trying it again. I'm going to have two parts to this video. The second part will be the shooting review, and I'm going to try to take it a little more seriously. I'm going to take some things with me to help stabilize the gun so I can more accurately represent the accuracy potential of this chassis system and the gun overall. I'm going to go over what I have installed as it's configured right now. This is a Magpul K-grip. It's more vertical than most, very, very lightweight, very slender in profile. This is a Vortex Strike Eagle 1:6 magnification. It is illuminated, and a cool little feature here. It's in the top cap here. You can actually house a second battery. But the reticle is cool. It has a ballistic drop compensation reticle. I got some loopholed quick detach steel scope rings here. And I have a Magpul standard MOE stock. The only thing that comes stock with this gun is the iron sights here. Very nice iron sights, actually. I really wish I had a setup to where I could still see the irons, but that's why I got quick detach, so I can pop these off real quick. What I do and don't like about this rifle, and the way it's configured, first of all, I had to modify, I mean, I didn't have to modify, but I modified the chassis because there are a lot of sharp corners, and it's not a huge deal if you're wearing gloves, but especially right here by the trigger guard, it is obnoxious. This little part where it humps up to the actual pistol grip here, it just seems like, why did you do that? So I filed it down and profiled the edges here so they're smooth. And I recommend to MDT to get rid of those sharp corners. I mean, like, I know it looks edgy and contemporary and stuff, but like, nobody likes feeling sharp corners on their hands. When you hear people talking about like, oh man, that is the most comfortable gun, do you hear them talk about like, guns with like a completely square receiver? Stop putting sharp corners on things, especially things that you're carrying for long periods of time. Like, it's ridiculous that companies are doing that just purely for looks, you know? There were some sharp corners back here, by the bolt here. Like, if you held your hand in a weird spot, like these are really sharp here, just ridiculous. This gun does come with an adjustable trigger. I left it factory because it's like, it breaks, like, it feels like it's 2 pounds. It's a really nice crisp trigger, and one of my favorites I have on any of my guns and any I've ever shot before. Good job, Mossberg. Comes with this aluminum rail here. The bolt handle is really nice. I do wish it angled down a little bit more, because when you kind of come up, your hand's really close to the scope. I wish it was just kind of bent a little bit more. But other than that, it's really nice and comfortable. I like the knurling on the knob. Part of me really likes the way this looks, and part of me can see so many areas that can be streamlined and lightened. You know, I mean, there could have been a huge hole in this trigger guard. It's not lightweight at all. I think it should have been lighter. I think it could have been lighter. Their relief cuts they made, you know, they're cool and everything, but look how thick everything is. It's just like, why is everything so thick? This huge thing, this is just like one huge chunk of aluminum. Like, why couldn't they made a couple relief cuts in here somewhere? It's very expensive too. This should not be expensive. This is just like a chunk of metal. Like, why is this so expensive? It doesn't even really do anything. This is just literally what all of the stuff that does something is mounted to. You can make all excuses in the world like, well, it costs them a lot to machine it. It doesn't cost them hundreds of dollars to make this. You know, it doesn't cost them hundreds of dollars to machine this. You know, the machine is probably paid for itself by now, I would think, I would hope. And at this point, they're making profit off of each job it does, I would hope. From what I know, you program the machine to do the shape you want, and then it does it. I guess if you're going for ultimate accuracy, well, honestly, you probably wouldn't start off with a budget rifle if you're wanting ultimate accuracy out of your rifle. Here's something I don't like about the actual Mossberg portion. See that? That is a lot of bolt wobble. And when you actually go to push forward, if you don't push forward in a certain way, the bolt binds up. You know, I'm kind of pulling out a little bit, but I'm still pushing forward. You know, that when it's on your shoulder, it's not as bad, but just the fact that I can do that and I can push the bolt forward and have it just stick right there is upsetting to me, and I really wish they would make a little bit larger bolt. It's easy to manipulate for the most part. I don't like that when it's cocked, this kind of feels loose, and you can actually fire it when it's up like that, and it kind of slams down to position, but I feel like that's lessening the velocity maybe of the firing pin or something. I feel like it should have just had like a little detent that kind of locked it in place right here. So like if you bumped it or something, it wouldn't be like that, and then you'd be allowed to fire it still. It's not really a big deal, but I do wish, just for my peace of mind, that they would have had something there to prevent that from moving so easily. I could just barely tap it, and it kind of goes up. I don't like that. If you were just a sort of regular shooter, or if you're a hunter, or if you're a paper puncher and you're not really doing competitions or anything, maybe not a paper puncher, but a steel shooter, just kind of you're hitting things to get a reaction rather than, trying to do precision work or whatnot, I would strongly recommend not getting this. It's way too much money for what it does for you. I was fooled. I read a bunch of reviews and I kind of got hyped up on it. If money's important to you, definitely don't get this. If ergonomics are important to you, maybe get this. If modularity is important to you, maybe get this. If accuracy, like I said, is important to you, maybe get this. It looks badass. Like, I love the two-tone look. And it does increase options. But it does take away some things. It takes away the ability to use more types of magazines. So you're limited to pretty much the SR25 magazine with this chassis system. Like I said, stay tuned for part 2. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in a future video.